A good afternoon to you all. Welcome to Women at the Front Lines. My name is Nayiga Madreen. Thank you for always watching us and enjoying our conversations. With me on this episode, I have Dr. Hilary. Yes, Dr. Hilary Nassolo. She is a pharmacist and she's pioneering healthcare transformation. Now we are going to get into the conversation with Dr. Yes, allow me welcome Dr. Hilary Nassolo. You're welcome on the show.
Thank you so much, Madreen.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
How is the season, festive season? How are you? How is family?
Everything is okay as of now.
Okay. Yes, so to our viewers, who is Hilary Nassolo?
My name is Hilary Treasure Nassolo. I would not say doctor because I'm an intern pharmacist, and for pharmacists, you get the title doctor after being licensed. So you can call me Hilary.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yes, noted.
I'm an intern pharmacist at Monago National Referral Hospital. And aside from that, I have the pleasure to serve as a founding member of Way Forward Youth Africa.
Okay.
And I'm also a founding member of Patient-Centered Care Movement Africa.
Wow. So before we go into all that, yes, you're going to take us through your background, childhood experiences. We usually enjoy that because some of our background may takes us to what we are. Yes, so kindly share with our viewers.
Childhood for me has not ended. I like to be a baby forever.
You still want to be called a baby?
Yes.
Wow,
yes,
interesting.
Yes, I want to be a forever baby girl, but I was born to two teachers. Both my parents are teachers, and I grew up at school for most of the time. For actually 22 years. Still, since I'm still a baby girl, yeah, that was also childhood. But talking about earlier experiences, childhood was mostly sunsets, rainbows, good rainfall, just a really lovely, beautiful moment. I loved it. I don't remember being sad as a child, probably because I was naive. I did not know life beyond the little things that made me happy.
Yeah.
Just going to school, playing with friends. I was a really playful child. Yeah, but just a bit of the touch I lost about my childhood. I used to dance.
Okay.
As a good dancer, shockingly, I used to sing. And
so what happened to all that talent?
I wanted to be an actor.
Okay.
I wasn't a good singer.
Yeah.
I was a good dancer, not excellent. I was an excellent actor. But just that I wasn't performing badly in school. You know, when in that generation, then we are always brainwashed to think that if you're having the grades, you're going to be a medical person. And thinking about like the other things that I enjoyed so much, I didn't see how they would give me money.
Yeah.
So I just took the template that my parents created that I must be a medical person. By then it was doctor. I didn't know about the other healthcare cadres.
Yeah.
So I just had it in my head that whatever happens, I'm going to be a doctor. And that's it. It's my title is there waiting for me to finish school, and I have to get it.
So this is brought up when you're still young. Your parents told you have to be a doctor, or it's you who wanted it?
I would not say I wanted it. I would be lying, because when you're a child and someone sees you have like a 99 in science and maybe you're not afraid to touch a frog, they think that this one will do well in science school, just because you're doing things in a way that is a bit different from other children, or you're having grades. So they brainwash you, or when the visitors come home, they make you feel like, you're going to be a doctor, you're doing well in school. So you grow up thinking that, I think this is what I'm meant to be. Everyone is saying I'm going to be this.
Yeah.
So before you know it, it's in your head, and it can't run out. And then at some point, I started wanting to be one, really.
Yes, now, but because I'm thinking, you said both your parents are teachers. I'm thinking you never thought at one time, maybe I want also to be a teacher. I think since you grew up in that kind of environment.
That must have been at around age 17, I wanted to be a math
Mm.
teacher. I love math so
Ma.
much. I love math so much. I remember sometime that was senior 6, senior 5. I have a friend I used to do math numbers with. He would start from the front, and then I
Mm.
start with the answer or the other way around.
Mm.
And then we're just doing math numbers all around.
Mm.
And I deeply wanted to be a math teacher at that age. But
Ah.
before that, no.
No.
Mm-mm, mm-mm, not really.
Ah, you wanted to be something else from mommy and daddy.
Yes.
Okay, wow. So you joined this, you take on sciences, and then you join, where did you go to? Campus?
Um, Before campus, I had school in primary. I went to St. Matia Grammar Primary School. Education is life. Then I went to
Mm.
St. Joseph's Girls School in Zambia for
Mm.
senior 1 to senior 4, Duki Nautum.
Wow.
And then I went to Nadia SS Weyogenene for senior
Ah.
5, senior 4, for Greater Horizons. And then I went to Kampala International University for my
Mm.
Bachelor of Pharmacy,
Mm.
exploring the heights.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Beautiful. And now you're here as a pharmacist in turn. So tell us, how is your career? How are you able to juggle through this?
Juggling is a really not a good term
Mm.
as how I do things, because I would not lie to anyone out there that there's juggling or trying to manage
Mm.
like career and then things beyond career. But I really make it upon myself to
Mm.
show up regardless. I know I have 2 jobs. I work as an intern, and later
Ah,
I work with EcoFarm Limited.
okay.
Yeah, and I have to show up for both,
Oh, boy.
and I have to be sane for both. So my goal every day is to show up. And before I show up for every work day, before the week starts, I make sure I prepare for the whole week just to be in a straight mind, so that if I wake up late or early, I'm not
Mm.
late for
Mm.
work and have everything set out before the week
Mm.
starts.
Wow,
Yeah.
beautiful. So it's really important for us to make plans before for a full week before you even get into.
Yes, very important.
Yeah. And then in the health sector, how has it been
Um,
working
I've
as a
mostly
health profession?
I've mostly been a student, given that I'm an intern. Most of my life I've been a healthcare student.
Mm.
But my little experience for the past 4 months, and also the 8 months I tried to practice at EcoFarm before I started internship,
Mm.
it has been challenging in a way that, as a person who cares so much about patient-centered care, the system is frustrating a bit to see that yes, you want to deliver this care, but
Mm.
it's so challenging. The numbers are overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
The patients are rigid.
Yeah.
You're trying to
Oh.
break, yes, you're trying to break myths, and someone is saying, no, I had this on TikTok. I had this on TikTok. This lady said, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what I want. So it has been challenging, but also
I think
exciting.
that is really happening a lot, because we usually, you're feeling something small and then you go to Google out what you have. Someone comes to you with already what they want. How do you
Exactly.
handle such patients?
I usually refer them. If
Mm.
I try to talk to someone and they are still insisting on something that I do not believe is right, I refer them to another college or to a hospital.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay. And then you said, you also mentioned there's some exciting moments. What are those exciting moments?
It's really good to take care of someone. Caring for people gives me so much warmth in the heart,
Oh.
and also seeing that someone you've cared for from let's say a critical stage is
Mm.
getting back to life and getting to their feet is so exciting. It feels
Wow.
so good.
And then that's why we appraise all the people in the health sector, because we cannot be here without you people. You're really doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And then you mentioned of your co-founder of the Way Forward something. So tell us more about what you do in there.
Okay, Way Forward Youth Africa started as a small project. First of all, it's like an umbrella of healthcare projects. We
Mm.
have a project on mental health that is all for mental health, and
Oh.
one on hypertension. So
Mm.
we started out in COVID-19 as a
Oh.
team of a few friends trying to conceptualize something and
Mm.
try to give hope to ourselves and also colleagues in that time. Times were really hard.
Yeah.
In that time, everyone was so down. People were getting anxious,
Mm.
depressed about the pandemic. We're going to die, and all.
Mm.
So we started up a small project, which was all for mental health. And then it led into the birth of Way Forward Youth Africa, which we registered as the
Mm.
bigger umbrella of
Oh,
these
okay.
organizations. We later grew into another project, which was the Adolescent School Project, and this was focusing on teenagers mainly, secondary school children.
Mm.
Yeah, that was just concluded this year. And then the Hypertension Project was mostly focusing on villages in Busoga,
Mm.
Jinja particularly. We're
Okay.
trying to teach like village health teams how to screen for hypertension and
Mm.
try to refer their colleagues, because like the distribution of healthcare centers is not even, especially in rural communities. So if
Mm.
these people can screen and then refer, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, and I've seen you in one of, I think, your community outreaches. You're
Mm.
talking about mental health. Why mental health in particular? Is it because, but true, we have a lot of mental health cases in Uganda. And then this is something that we've not really, as Africans or Ugandans, we've not really focused this, our minds onto this. I think few of people in Uganda take this seriously as a serious issue. Why mental health in particular?
Oh, why mental health? Mental health is more serious than people know of it. I have had someone I care for deeply
Mm.
being affected, and a couple of them, not just one, being affected. And as I like to say, I am privileged with the ability to care for other people. I love to care for other people, and then caring for people with mental health issues comes naturally because at the back
Mm.
of my mind, I've seen someone I know and I care for
Mm.
suffer at the hands of mental health illness. And I wish that I could prevent other people from getting into
Yeah.
episodes and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then besides your career, what you're doing as a pharmacist, so which other things are you getting involved in?
Besides pharmacy, I really do too much projects, like
Okay.
too much projects. Now there's Way Forward Youth Africa, then there's Patient Centered Care Movement Africa. I'm also an antimicrobial resistance steward. But then, not to bore you with things in health and stuff, I design graphics. I
Okay.
enjoy designing graphics and a little bit of video editing, just a little bit. Yeah,
Mm.
and also because the world is getting digital and technological,
Yeah.
I've done a thing on programming. I can I know some languages.
Mm.
Yeah, just yet to put them in practice. So mostly learning that.
Okay. So when do you do this? Is it in your free time? Because you mentioned you're doing two jobs.
Mm.
Yes. So when do you do this?
Other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I've had to learn to get flexible because sometimes you need to burn the midnight candle. Sometimes you need to wake up so early and then show up
Mm.
for these things because there are things that you care for. There are things that you want to be a part of, and you want to be a part of the change or a
Mm.
part of a voice. So
Yeah.
I really just show up for them. If it means staying up late or staying up 3 days, I stay up and show up for them. And as for graphic designing, it's like a hobby. I
Mm.
just I just do it for free. I just do it for fun. It really makes me happy and calms down my soul.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned that you do manage some pages for organizations. Do these people come reach out to you? How do you do this?
People have reached out to me.
Okay.
People have reached out to me because I've done this since 2019, mainly for
Oh.
for the health sector. So I have some, I don't want to say expert, but that's the accurate word for it. I
Yeah.
have some knowledge on how to sustain a healthcare page. So some people reach out
Mm.
to me. Some
Mm.
people get me through like connections and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And then, what are some of the recommendations? You said you get rigid patients, the challenges that you talked about.
Mhm.
What are some of the recommendations that you think maybe us, the community or the government, can take on to see that these issues, and mainly in the health sector, are dealt with or reduced?
And the challenges.
Yes.
I think the biggest influence is trying to bend our policies a bit, trying to edit them
Mm,
from from what we've always known, other templates that worked before,
mm,
and trying to modernize our healthcare setting. Also, having worked at Mulago, it being a national referral, I remember getting sick the first month I was there because the
ah,
numbers are overwhelming. I think the government needs to get aware that the medics are really few and they need to employ people. It is overwhelming. I'm just a pharmacist. Most people don't actually come for government drugs, but you would
mm,
see like 500 patients. Imagine the doctors who saw this. I wonder if people are aware that by the time you're on the 100th patient, you're no longer reasoning. You just functioning on a template like this, do
yeah,
this, this, do this, and then you don't even have time to give enough. You don't even have enough time to give to your patient. You're just doing
mm,
like, yeah, what's in the head, just doing that. And you
yeah,
can't even blame these
yeah,
healthcare
true,
workers. They are really few. The numbers are overwhelming. It's so sad. It's
yeah,
so sad. And also the government needs to shift its priorities. They need to get deep down into the things that are affecting the communities and then focus on those really. And
mm,
health and distribution of resources is really a big one.
yeah. So you're a young person. How does it feel being you're able to do what you're doing as a young girl, as a young person?
It doesn't feel special. A lot of people are doing it. Not special at all. A
Okay.
lot of people, younger, older, same age, are really doing it. Only that maybe they're not out there trying to say what they're doing, but people are doing it. It's not special. It doesn't feel any different.
And it doesn't feel any
No,
different.
all my colleagues. A matter of fact, I tiptoe around my colleagues because mostly all the people around me are really excelling at what they do and they're being intentional with it. So I don't feel special in any way.
Yeah, so because back then we had few ladies, all women into medicine or health sector. We usually had the gentlemen coming in for it,
Mm.
all also taking sciences right from O level, A level. But these days, I think we have gone up as the women.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I feel my gender in some spaces.
Mm.
Yeah, especially pharmacy. I do not know how many female pharmacists are there. For example, in my class, we were about 68 and we're like 14 ladies.
Oh,
Yeah, so I don't feel special as a whole, but as a woman, we
as
are
a
really
woman.
few there, and
Yeah.
I hope more girls join in, really.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so then as um you're doing graphics, you're being a pharmacist, and then you're also managing pages for some organizations. Yes. Where do you see yourself maybe in the next 10 years? Also, there is also work you're doing with the Way Forward Foundation Africa, and then the patient care centered movement.
Mm.
Where do you see all this in the next 5 years?
Um, I don't enjoy limiting myself. That question is sad because I have personally, and I also believe very many young people have created like a template answer to that particular question. But
Mm,
I see myself with a continued commitment to the things I'm doing as of now.
mm,
And I hope they've shifted because I'm mostly working on being better every day, not
mm,
particularly for the next 5 years.
yeah. And then way forward movement Africa. Uh, why is it, where can someone find this, or the work that you're doing as doctors, or people in the health sector? How are people benefiting from this? Are you reaching out to communities as a movement, or you're stationed in somewhere and then you're reaching to out to people?
So mostly, like I told you, we've done mental health projects. I would tell you about the Adolescent Schools project. We're able to reach out to these children in school. We're able to tell them about mental health, educate them about the different conditions, tell them how they can know that a friend is affected, and then we established clubs in these schools. So that is something that we left as a sustainability thing for the mental health project, because this is something that we do not want to do like in a month and then it disappears. And then for the patient-centered care movement Africa, what we mostly do is we are a diverse community of healthcare students. Most of us are now no longer students, but we have students, over 500 of them in our volunteer lists. So what we do is mostly get them resources, get them conferences, equipment, give them information to learn about patient-centered care. This is something that sounds very basic, but it's not in our healthcare system. You would hear a lot of people talking about healthcare personnel being rude to them. So we want that the next generation of the people who come out care more for the lives of their patients rather than just looking at them as the diagnosis, like a malaria case, and then just knowing you as Madreen is sick, not knowing Madreen is a malaria case, something like that. So that has been our biggest impact, really.
And then when you go to the schools, how do you do it? Do you have any support? How are you supporting yourselves to reach out to these schools? And then how do you follow up with these people that you're training or helping out? Yes.
We have focal people. Remember, schools have counselors, so they work as our focal people, and we get consent. We got consent actually at the beginning of the project. We got consent from parents, because you know how mental health is different in every home state. You would want to promote her child's right, boost her confidence, but then you're making her indisciplined in the eyes of her parent. So we got consent from parents, we got consent from the schools, and then the local community, and then we got a focal person for each school, which is the counselor, and that's how we get into the school.
So are you doing this, where are you currently doing this? Is it all over Uganda, or you have a few schools that you have reached out to?
We did a few schools.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a single girl school, we did a single boy school, and 2 mixed schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we hope to see you also reaching the grassroots schools.
Yeah, no, we really had, like, we had schools in the city setting, and then we really had 2 schools in the more local community. Yes.
So when you go to these schools, the adolescents, what are some of the issues that you feel these are really happening on the daily or the common in the schools that you have visited among the adolescents?
It's mostly pressure to perform. It's mostly pressure to perform, pressure from the from the parents, pressure from colleagues who are doing it so well. Yeah, and then comparison, really. That's the root of most of their problems. Like, Madreen is richer than me, Madreen is prettier than me, and then I feel bad, I feel isolated, I'm introverted, such stuff, really.
So are you engaging also the teachers?
Definitely. Definitely.
Well, so is there a plan to also include the parents?
Definitely.
Because handling the adolescents alone without involving the parents they live with or teachers will also not help a lot.
We were actually privileged to have like one of our parents getting interested in joining us to spread the good news of mental well-being, because she's a psychologist.
Okay.
So yeah, because remember I told you we got consent, these children had consent forms. So yeah, we got consent from parents, and most of them were like, how can we get involved? I'm a psychologist, I'm a psychiatrist, how can I help? I know my children need this, their friends need this. Yeah. So the most limiting thing is financing, because we just organize. We are not
you organize within yourselves. There's
just
no funding that outside funding that you get from maybe donors or partners. You're not working with any partners.
We don't have an individual partner, but we've gotten a couple of grants to push us through. Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. So they are doing some work in communities, in schools, and mainly focusing on mental health, well-being, which is really an issue that many of us are not looking at as a very important factor in our lives. And as we come to the conclusion of the conversation, yes, you're working more with the adolescents, yes, and you at least you're aware of some of the issues or the challenges these people go through. Yes, so as a young person working with young people, what are some of your words, your encouraging words or advice to these young people or lessons? Yes, also you can give us some of your experiences as a young person, share out to the young person, mainly the young woman in our societies.
Interesting. My experience as a woman in this community has been basic. I will not lie that I've been affected so much because of my gender. I was born bold. I've been raised
Mm.
bold. Yeah, and I've been really bold and really fearless. But I've known of very many ladies who are really affected by um patriarchy.
Yeah.
I didn't want
Mm,
to mention it that way.
mm,
But I've known of very many of them. I've
mm.
known of very many of my female colleagues living in a shell every day and fearing to go out there. And today morning I was talking to one of my close friends before I came here, and I first checked his bio before I inboxed him, and it said the date is set for you to be great. The question is, are you ready? The question is, are you ready for that date? Because we've moved past, not so much past, but we've
Mm.
moved past victimizing ourselves as, oh, I'm a woman, I can't go out there, I can't be a doctor, I can't be an engineer, because that course is meant for boys. We are really beyond that. People are doing things.
Yeah.
The question is, are you ready to attack? If you want to do something or want to be something, are you ready to face the rain when it comes, to go through it and get to what you want?
So before we blame others, before we blame the government, we should really think first.
Yeah, I think first, and try to stop. It is really sad, but we ladies have that victimhood mentality a lot. Yeah,
Mm,
and it's we are past that. We need to get out of the shell and take up spaces.
mm,
Yeah, that way we could defend. Because I would not think that someone who is educated is a victim of most of the gender-based issues, but
mm.
rather we are the voice of the
Yeah.
people in the other, let's say, local communities that are affected. So for us who have been educated, we
Mm.
need to get out of the shell and and speak up and take up spaces and show the younger girls that it has been done and it can be done.
It can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and that's why we have this particular show so that the young girls down there listen to people like you speak, listen to people like you, share your experiences, and then they're also able to pick up these spaces that you also said, yes, let me take on this. And so that they are also great people in society. And so Hilary, also you're doing a lot of work, and then what are some of the work ethics that have kept you moving to basically do what you're doing at the right time, and then also delivering what you're supposed to deliver?
Like I mentioned earlier, I show up regardless. I show up. If I made a commitment that I'm going to be part of something, it
Mm.
does not matter. If I can't show up, I communicate, but I show
Ah.
up every day. I just wake up, and the main goal is to show up. And
Mm.
whatever happens when I show up, God
Yeah.
knows. God knows that I really make sure I show up
Yeah.
and I strive to become better every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we are in the festive season. I know health personnel do not even have these holidays. How does it feel?
Um,
You're not entitled to these holidays, but I think you get leave, annual leaves.
Yes, we do get leaves. We
Mm.
do get leaves. But when you're a young professional, you can't think about leave during the festive season. You need to let the elders have the leave.
Yeah.
But um, it feels normal. I think I was mentally ready for it. It feels normal. We shall definitely create time and go and see our loved ones. But in
Mm.
that time, we shall be ready to receive patients.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Hilary, for coming through. Maybe you'll want to share your very last word to our viewers, and then also extend your wishes to the people.
Uh, First of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to
Mm.
share a little bit of my story, to share a little bit of what I do, and to to really be part of a community of women. I be grateful
Yeah.
for having like the ability to speak to others, and I hope that for the few things I've said, there's something a young
Mm.
lady out there can pick
Yes.
out,
Yes.
and they're impacted positively. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hilary, for coming through. We wish you all the best in whatever that you're doing, and we pray that you reach out to more people in community, mostly people in the grassroots, people in the, far places than the capital city. We usually focus around here, but forget people out here. So we wish you all the best, and thank you for coming through. Thank you to the people on the cameras. Thank you all to our viewers. You can kindly follow our conversations on Civic Space TV, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Yes, you have been lovely viewers. Thank you all. See you next time. Bye.